Welcome everyone to the Denim Think Tank discussion, Unzipping the Trims category. My name is Tricia Carey and I'm Director of Global Business Development for Denim at LENZ. At LENZ, we transform trees into fiber, and they are used by leading denim mills and brands around the world. To learn more about TENCEL Denim, you can visit our Carved in Blue blog or follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. To see some of our amazing denim videos and those videos from our mill partners and brands, you can also listen to our series on Headspace and conversations like these on our YouTube channel, Blue LENZ. For today, with Unzipping the Trims category, we'd like to highlight a little bit about what we're going to be discussing. And any brand using the word sustainable and green in their marketing claims need to ensure that every element of that product is the best it can be in terms of its environmental footprint. Trims, however, tend to be the invisible element of a garment. Overlooking such components can contribute significantly to the environmental footprint of a denim garment. The diverse range of trim products used in a garment include interlinings, sewing thread, buttons, zippers, labels, tapes, elastics, studs, rivets, and the list goes on. One pair of premium jeans can consume several hundred meters of sewing thread, and the zipper industry alone is worth a massive $13 billion in sales per year. In fighting trim is an English saying which means something or someone is in very good condition. So what are today's trim suppliers doing to get in fight trim as they prepare for what is to come in the few years ahead? Joining us today in the discussion is Amy Lee, who is Senior Manager for Global Trends and Insights at Avery Dennison. We have Arzu Turgay, who is Global Accounts Manager at Coates. Elif, Sertkaya, who is Head Manager at DERIDESEN. Suat Odabasi, who is Key Account Sales and Sustainability Executive at YKK. And Vitor, who is Sales Manager at CRAFIL. So our format for today is we'll start with our discussion questions and then we'll open up to audience questions. So feel free to put your questions in the Q&A and also engage in any chat during the conversation that we're having. We really want to keep the dialogue going. So today, we look at business and what is happening in many different ways in different locations. We're all dealing with many struggles. How has your company pivoted under the current conditions? And tell us a little bit about any of the new products that you have. We'll start with you, Amy.
Yeah, sure. It's not easy, but at Avery we're used to being agile and pivoting. But I think going through something globally like this has really brought with it this huge amount of empathy and support for individuals internally and externally. So one project is a campaign we launched called Patch Together, where we designed and made a collection of iron-on woven patches for customization. And they feature feel-good messages and support for health workers. So we're selling packs of those online with all proceeds going to Doctors Without Borders. And we've had a great response for that so far. And then on the broader topic of customization, we've long been talking about embellishments being used to mend and revive clothing. At one time, Christopher Rayburn was holding workshops in his studio using our custom patches and heat transfers as part of educating people on repair and personalization to give clothes more value and longevity. And then on a bigger scale, we're seeing an opportunity for brands and retailers to revive dead stock and limit overstock by creating base products that can be customized on demand, even more so now with the challenge of overstock being brought into the spotlight. And then looking at future state with digital, we want to see custom on-demand manufacturing being embedded into the supply chain at scale, which will massively cut down on waste and allow brands to be faster and more agile in their production. And then another shift has, of course, has been the mask category. So we're producing trims and packaging for masks globally for our customers. And we're now working on some more sustainable packaging options focused on plastic-free and recyclability.
Wow, you have a lot of initiatives going on now, and you're certainly touching on many of the key points around, reducing waste, dealing with the dead stock, and also the customization. Thank you for that update. And Arzu, what are you working on now, and how have you been dealing with this time?
Thank you. First, I would like to thank you for you and Muhsin to organize this type of webinar series, because you are extending textile in the industry to the next level, in my opinion. Thank you for it again. In COVID time, we are in difficult times, and first, inside of COTS, we have immediate actions about health and safety, of course. So pivoted PPE, remote working conditions, and trainings and other activities directly we held. And when we look at the customer side and product side, we especially focus on digital interactions, digital projects, and sustainability actions directly. And also, COTS is very old company, nearly for 250 years ago it established, and we are producing in 50 countries around the world, in 6 continents. So our support for our customers are very important. So what we did in this current time, we increased our technical supporting to our customers.
Wonderful. That's great. Certainly in using these times the right way to be more efficient going forward. So Elif, for you, what have you been working on?
With new normal, we concentrated our production and TQM. At first, mainly we focused on our company training as Arzu, as codes. We reviewed our strategic plan and production process again. We discovered these things again. And we decided to increase our some of the product range. And as you know, the market shrink, and in this period, we made more investment, and it was a chance also in the market. We find the machinery is much reasonable prices as well. We mainly produce valuable leather labels and hack tanks by mix and match different techniques. Also, we have given service for printing for many years, and nowadays we decided to invest machineries for printing sites. For printing sites, we made t-shirts printings for the front of the t-shirts printing, and we give service for this sector as well. This is the nearby sportswear. We started a sportive label, nearby leather labels. We started a project with Mavi Jeans. On the denim other denim brands also great focus on the stretch and comfort products. So for these days, our main project for now on to grow in athletic wear and printing sector.
Wonderful. Thank you for the updates. Yes. Suat, for you, what have you been working on?
First, as other friends, I would like to thank to everybody who involved the preparation of this opportunity, and special thanks to you and Muhsin for sure. As YKK, we focused on personal protective equipments, and by thinking of how we can help to fight with the pandemic. So we have been working really hard with the communities across the EMEA region to help stop the spread of the virus by helping to supply components to produce various items of personal protective equipments. And as a global organization, we have been utilizing the cycle of goodness philosophy, which is linked to our founder, Mr. Tadao Yoshida's no one prospers without rendering benefit to others motto. So, for example, in Italy, we have been supporting the local communities through donations to the hospitals near our factories. And in France, we have been working with the companies who are producing reusable masks and visors to face the pandemic. And meanwhile, in Spain, We have been participating with the business platforms created to gather suppliers and of sanitary garments. Besides our activities to fight with the pandemic, we also kept supporting our business partners who are trying to keep their business alive with preparing visual booths and mood boards and other virtual development tools by supplying 3D data of our products, and which comply with the well-known platforms such as Clo and Browseware. Of course, we did all of these in order to catch the current demand of the market. Thank you.
Wonderful. Excellent to hear about some of the digital advances that you're making.
Yeah.
And Vitor, we've been in touch during this time on a couple of projects, one being the Ace Gold Green t-shirt on Kickstarter that Adriano launched. So I know you were involved in that, but what has CRAFIL been working on during this time?
Well, companies are constantly changing even without these exceptional situations. And that do not change, do not survive. We always have to find alternatives and try to adapt to change in time. So CRAFIL way of being was always this, finding solutions that adapt to the current reality of the company, always finding alternatives. CRAFIL has always dedicated itself especially to the denim segment, a segment that has fallen a lot to this situation because the stores were closed and the end customers were unable to purchase. The way we find to survive was to provide companies that dedicated themselves to the manufacture of anti-COVID protective material. We have a lot of customers that have temporarily switched from producing denim to the production of masks, protective suits, etc. So I think it's mostly what everybody is doing is to protect to supply these manufacturers of protective clothing and masks and things like that.
Yes, definitely. The increase in PPE and how the industry has really come together is amazing. And I think it definitely shows our solidarity around the world that we can support in times of need. So thank you. Your companies work in a variety of different industries, not only in denim. Some of you specialize a little bit more on the denim. So what do you find different about the denim industry, and what products are you developing specifically for the needs of denim? Arzu, we'll start with you and what Coates is working on.
We have a different range and wide range of products, not only for apparel and footwear in this industry, also for performance materials, automotive, telecom, and energy sector. So we have different, also we have different range of segmentation like outdoor, activewear, etc. So it reflects to denim side also. So our range is very wide for denim. When you think to denim, it is we are trying to meet customer needs. What customer needs? For example, we have different dresses for different washes and bleaches, different for different finishes and what you want. And when we going into the sustainability, I think this is the most important thing. We have threads for denim laser fading technology. And also we have 100% recycled polyester threads for corspan and staple one for denim industry, for embroidery side also. So it is about to you, and we are now in developing some of natural fibers like lyocell, hemp, and some linen fibers. So they are in development stage, and I think we will see the results nearby.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds very interesting, and we look forward to seeing some of the new product developments. Suat at YKK, what are you doing specifically for denim?
We have a lot of products actually. As everybody may agree, denim is the most universally worn and the best known textile product in the world, and it's nearly irreplaceable. As a company which is working with a wide variety of industries, we have been paying extremely high attention to denim industry since it's coming from our history. So besides the well-known core denim products such as our metal zippers on denims and buttons and rivets, we have also developed some special sustainable product for denim industry, such as our recycled zipper Natulon and our sustainable eco-finish colors, our extremely low impact metal color line acroplating, which is totally new, our detachable screw tag button for denim garment recycling, which used to be a very big problem in the market, and our eco-friendly organic cotton zippers, as well as zippers made using lenzing cellulose-based TENCEL yarn. And of course, our most recent developments are the biodegradable button, which we recently developed, and our green rise button, a green rise zipper, and our Natulon ocean source zipper, which is made by the post-consumer PET bottles, which collected from the sea line of the ocean.
Wonderful. Great to see all the sustainability and recycling opportunities that you're developing. Vitor, for you at CRAFIL, what are you doing specifically in the denim industry?
CRAFIL operates in different sectors, but about 80% of our production is for denim segment. This is due to the fact that one of the company's founders is addicted to denim. This can be good and can be bad. Bad because it limits us in terms of the company's global growth, and is very good because it makes us experts in this area. In my opinion, the denim area is much more demanding than other textile areas. Intense washing, high temperatures, aggressive products, all this push the sewing threads to the limit. In this sector, we listen everybody that is involved on the denim development. For example, we developed sewing threads without harness after wash that do not shine and have a vintage look, that do not fade, that are compostable. There is always something to improve. We have always to be attentive what our customers need, and if possible to anticipate.
Well, we're glad that your management is so enthusiastic about denim. Wonderful product, and I agree, the product is very demanding, and certainly the changes in technology are allowing you to also evolve in your product range too. Elif, what are you working on specifically for denim and new product development?
Also, we have been working with denim sector, and we are giving service to shoes and bags, white goods, and automotive and furniture sectors as well. Especially for denim, our customers focus as others sustainable products. We try to make always some sustainable materials to present our customers. Now we focus for organic leather, biodegradable materials, some hemp products, and cork. Cork is now so trendy materials for labeling as a sustainable part. We do some eco-friendly labels. We use different TPU materials and some recycled materials, and we find different materials for the labeling side. And our program range are different also. Nearby leather labels and japrons, we do heat seal labels, silicone labels, hang tags, laser printing, care labels, joining labels, and some nickel plate labels. This is for white goods sector, for refrigerators, these type of products. We do some 3D lenticular products, which makes moving, and this is different material. And these are our product range.
Great, thank you. And Amy, for you?
Yeah, so historically the focus for denim has been on durability, and we have products and printing techniques that withstand harsh wash tests like care labels, which need to retain print clarity. And these are still really important, but maybe less of a focus as more brands are innovating with sustainable finishing techniques, which are less harsh. One great addition to our portfolio recently has been in partnership with ISA Tantec, which is an eco-friendly leather manufacturer that sources leather from the byproducts of the meat industry. So it's not farmed for fashion. They abide by the principles of UN Global Impact, and their manufacturing processes are designed to reduce environmental footprint. And they're able to provide us with carbon and water usage for each product. So they're a great partner. And we also offer non-leather patches as well, which can be made with recycled PET and woven with textures or sublimated to give some really interesting effects. Jacquard is also popular, and we've also made patches with dissolvable paper. So when the denim is washed, you're just left with the stitch marks and the label disappears altogether with no damaging residue. And that's an option for swing tags and labeling as well. So that's a great zero waste solution.
Well, that's really cool. I haven't heard about that because I'm always cutting mine out, especially, you know, now labels keep getting longer and longer. So that's very interesting to hear about labels that would wash out. Great. You mentioned, Amy, about the United Nations. So picking up on that, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are the framework for businesses. What are your companies doing for initiatives to achieve the UN SDGs? Suat?
I would like to mention about our principles and other related initiatives which are linked to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The YKK Group's management principles considers customers, society, and employees in the continued effort to operate with fairness to grow and satisfy the demands from our stakeholders. Since a healthy society needs a healthy environment to thrive, we do a lot of activities to ensure our environmental impact is minimized. As early 1994, we made our environmental pledge, which prioritized the preservation of the environment in our business activities. That was around the same time when we launched Not Alone, the first recycled zipper. Also, I would like to mention about the other initiatives in place in YKK. For example, YGCC, which is YKK Global Criteria of Compliance. It's our internal audit framework that covers environmental management, labor conditions, and business ethics. The most important point about YGCC is that it aims to be an equal or broader standard than the codes of organizations such as Higg Index or Blue Sign, since its intention is to cover a set of social compliance criteria that likely equals or exceeds those codes. For example, all YKK operating companies are subscribed to YGCC since it's our obligation for each operating company. And Higg Index to improve the transparency of our manufacturing. YKK Turkey, USA, Japan, and all YOCs in Asia, and of course YKK China, all companies by YKK in China are subscribed to this criteria. And Blue Sign is to guarantee the high standards of environmental performance and workplace safety. Like Higg Index, Blue Sign is also subscribed by the all mentioned YOCs, YKK operating companies. And of course, EMEA Code of Business Conduct, it's our internal code of business conduct built on the cycle of goodness philosophy, which I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. And it covers the range of regulatory compliance and ethical standards by which the business is operated, including harmony with the environment and ethical business relationships. And we also have our 2050 environmental vision to make our operations carbon neutral in the long term. And United Nations Fashion Charter and science-based targets, it's also really important to set the goals in carbon footprint reduction and across all of our operations and supply chain. We follow these targets really closely. And at last, besides all, our local operating companies are supporting the local communities continuously. In conclusion, I would say our activities directly contributing 13 SDGs of United Nations and indirectly the 4 of them. So it's nearly covering all SDGs of United Nations.
Wonderful.
SDGs.
Thank you. That's a great update. I didn't realize everything that you were working on, and it's interesting because many of your goals parallel what Lenzing is doing. We also have the goal of being net zero carbon by 2050.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are lofty goals that our companies are taking on. Amy, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how you're connecting back with SDGs.
Yeah, sure. In a similar way, the principles are really ingrained in our values as a business. And we have 3 of our own overarching goals that reflect where we can make the greatest difference. And they encompass many elements of the SDG framework. So the first is to deliver innovations that advance the circular economy, which aligns with the SDG for responsible consumption and production. And that's driven by using recycled materials and actively inventing and sourcing materials that are more recyclable. The second is reducing the environmental footprint in our operations, which aligns with the SDG for climate action. And we're driving that in our facilities to lower emissions and by choosing raw materials that minimize consumption of resources. And we also have a product assessment tool called Greenprint that helps our customers to make more informed decisions. And the third is to be a force for good. And this is about driving decent work and economic growth, quality education and gender equality. And that's through close collaboration with our suppliers. And we invest in the communities where we live and work as well through our Avery Dennison Foundation. I just want to talk about one project that touches on a few of these goals, which is our partnership with the Plastic Bank. And they set up plastic recycling centres in some of the world's poorest areas. So plastic collection by individuals is monetised, which is helping to lift communities out of poverty. And what's in the testing phase currently is that the collected plastic is recycled back into our supply chain as a yarn source for woven labels. So the way it works is we were awarded a patent in 2017 for recycled labels, and we license that label to our competitors. So when that happened, it gave us an opportunity and really an obligation to bring the industry with us, and the license fee payments are used to fund the Plastic Bank recycling centres. So that's a key project for us.
Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't realize how you were working on that in collaboration within the industry. And wonderful to hear your updates on SDG, especially 12 and 13. Elif, what are you working on related to the Sustainable Development Goals?
Yeah, UN sustainable goals are as well important for our companies. We focused education, raw material consumption, energy consumption, zero wastage, and reduce our carbon print. And we start through education. We believe people can contribute to sustainable development. That's why we provide sustainable training in our companies. We use sustainable raw materials during our development. In our collection, we use certificated raw materials, FCS, Ecotex, GRS certificated. We also member of PIG Index. We make process changes due to energy consumptions. We use energy more efficiency in the production process. For example, washing products, instead of washing products, we do printing and laser printing, and we use some design modes instead of washing. We offer our customers some alternative instead of wash. We invest different machineries and technologies to keep electricity consumption at minimum level. And for our wastage, we have companies, license companies for the send our wastage license disposal companies. And we have our own water treatment system and evaporator system for our chemicals. And we use our all energy resource as part of our energy reduction plan. And we believe the world will be much cleaner if every companies do their best to reduce their carbon footprint. That's why we try to our best, and we have a plan to do this.
Wonderful. Thank you for that update. Vitor, what are you doing at CRAFIL connected to the SDGs?
Well, the structure of the United Nations SDG are almost the same as the European Union, where CRAFIL is based. And therefore, our mentality was always been and will be in accordance with these guidelines. Recycling, using recycled raw materials, reducing the use of water or electricity, using alternative energies, paying fair wages, are things that we have been doing this since the beginning of CRAFIL in 2004. So that's things that we are doing, and we will continue to do that.
Wonderful. Arzu, for you at COATS?
Yes, COATS participated to United Nations Global Compact in 2019, and our 2019 sustainability report was written according to United Nations Global Compact COP rules. So our sustainability vision is directly linked with United Nations Global Compact vision and rules. So in the company, we set 5 pillars, and we focused on for these 5 pillars. First one is water. So until 2022, our target is to reduce water usage 40% per trade kilogram. When you look at the second one is the energy. So our target is for 2020 to reduce our energy usage for 7%. We are looking renewable energies. So we have a pilot plant in China for solar energy. So we started to work on it. Third one is effluent and emissions. So our target is to zero discharge hazardous. Our India facility, we have already a unit for this, and it is working. For the social side, health and safety is the priority for COATS, and diversity and inclusion. We have been working on them nearly for 6 or 9 years. So it is a habit in the company for them. So for a social, what is COATS target is to have a great place to work certificate in COATS key units. When we think living sustainability is the topic, as I say always. So now our target is our polyester threads, virgin polyester threads, turn them to 100% recycled until 2024. We have now already lots of products 100% recycled. So some of brands are already started to use them. Thank you.
Great. Yes, no, you're doing quite a bit. Touching more on sustainability, I mean, one of the questions I'm always being asked by designers is around circularity. We know about the tremendous waste in our industry. There's 50 million tons of textile and apparel waste that's discarded globally. As a company, Lenzing, we look also at circularity, and I know some of you have mentioned this within your sustainability initiatives. especially related to SDG 12, which is around responsible consumption and production. At Lenzing, we have a fiber called Refibra, which upcycles cotton waste in order to make a new TENCEL lyocell. And when I'm working with designers, they're always asking, well, what else, how do we make the entire garment? How do we look at everything? So what are you doing around reducing waste in order to have circularity within the garment? And also I'd like to ask, what are you doing around transparency? Because this was a question that someone had asked. Vitor, we'll start with you. What are you doing to address the circularity needs of the industry?
Well, the circular economy theme is quite present, and in my opinion, it makes perfect sense. I believe that 95% of the consumers, when they are buying a product, they are not even concerned about the end of the cycle. So it's up to the brands to develop these products so that they are circular. That's why we have tried to find solutions to offer to the designers. For example, in Barcelona in the year 2016, at the Premiere Vision, where we present the first, I think, continuous filament sewing thread made 100% from plastic bottles. Everyone who visited at the stand was very curious about it. But what is certain is that only after 4 years that we begin now to have significant sales of this product. For example, at this moment, in partnership with you guys, Lenzing, we have been developing several projects with major global denim brands in order to use either TENCEL or viscose in the production of denim. We know that it may take some time to hit needles, but this is what drives us, offering solutions so that we can have a circular economy that is sustainable for us and for our children and grandchildren.
Yes, no, I mean, especially on the biodegradability side, and that's why, I've been working together on the TENCEL sewing thread because of the biodegradability aspect. So yes, I mean, this is where addressing circularity can be, whether it's a recycled polyester, but when we look at the total garment and what would happen in biodegradability, I think it's great that you're offering different alternatives. Elif, for you, what are you working on to address the circularity side of what's needed now in the denim industry?
For many years back, some sustainable products was a capsule collection. In our collection site, we have some sustainable products, but they were limited, and it was difficult to find the certification. It was difficult to offer. But after many years, now our 100% collection is sustainable materials. We can offer organic leather certificated, recyclable materials, biodegradable materials, some core materials, silicone labels, some different techniques we can offer now. And today we can give 100% sustainable products to the designers, and always we are working on it, what type of materials we can find and offer to our customers. Of course, it's so important for us. We want to part of the, of course, circular economy, so we are working on it hard.
Great, thank you. Arzu, for you at Coats, what are you working on to bring circularity into the total garment?
Yes, waste is very important point. As you know, our target is reduce waste 20%, 25% by 2022. We are handling waste in two parts. One is processing side and one is product and raw material side. When we look at the product side, for man-made fibers, oil-based man-made fibers. So now we are turning all our polyester threads 1% of to recycled thread, recycled material. And for the nylon blends, also now developments are ongoing. When we look at the cotton and cellulosic fibers, cotton, we are producing sustainable cotton thread, and of course, it is produced by sustainable raw material and eco-friendly chemicals. So, and you can use it in vegan areas. So we are already producing these threads, and linen, hemp, and lyocell products are developments are ongoing. We have also developments, circularity and biodegradability areas, but we are doing unique projects for our customers. So we are making collaboration with them. So it is a little bit confidential. I cannot explain all the things, but if you would like to have collaboration, you can connect with us, and we can make projects about them.
Great, thank you. Amy at Avery Dennison, what are you doing to address circularity? And I think also maybe you could highlight what's happening around transparency, because I see very much the two are also connected.
Yeah, definitely. And circularity is a huge priority for us as well and our partners. Firstly, as well as recycled PET for wovens, we have a new yarn called Albert yarn, which is created using our own loom waste from our weaving facility in Italy, which is really exciting. And we're looking to expand that to Asia and other regions, so helping to close our own loop on waste. But moving on to another key topic that's happening in the industry is a shift to digital care labels, which will hugely cut down the amount of material usage. So while global legislation at the moment still requires garments to have a printed care and content label, there is a push for allowing brands to convert that label to a single digital trigger that enables compliance information to be accessed digitally. And we're actively engaged in that conversation in the US with the AAFA, the American Apparel and Footwear Association. And with that, there's an opportunity now to drive consumer-facing transparency, as well as education around repair, repurpose, and recycling and post-purchase engagement. So one project that we launched recently is with the R Collective, which is a Hong Kong-based brand using dead stock to create beautiful collections. And they recently partnered with Levi's to use waste denim for a denim collection. And we partnered with them to create a label that has a 4-scan experience. So each time the user scans that QR code on the care label, they're directed to one of 4 different discoveries. So that's from conscious wash care to the supply chain journey to recycling information. And it's really exciting to see that use case coming to life and enabling transparency for the user.
Great, that's really interesting, Amy, about the digital care label, because I saw this come through with the FTC opening discussions, and AAFA is a part of it, and so is USFIA. So how, I was just kind of understanding how much that would change for the industry without having that, you know, woven care label. Can consumers, you know, what liability then will exist for brands if consumers don't always have all that information right there on the garment, even if they can access it digitally? What are your thoughts on removing that physical care label?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to take some time. It will take a few years, and consumers are already becoming much more comfortable with accessing information digitally. So I think by the time this happens, it will be much more second nature to access information like that digitally. So
I think it's interesting. At first, I thought they meant that there would be no care instructions. So now what you're saying is that it would just be digital. So, because then I was thinking what would happen with all the testing centers, and still consumers need guidance on care. So interesting. Suat, wanted to find out from you, because I think you have the biggest challenge as far as circularity around metal
Yes.
and what is left behind. So have you come up with a solution around circularity with zippers and with metals?
Yeah, actually, I would like to start with a question. It's like, have we ever think about the perfect circular garment. So it's probably the one which is made of as few types of material as possible, ideally even just one material. Although there are promising technologies for the moment, which will soon be able to sort them out, unfortunately, we don't have a technology for the moment that will automatically separate all the different materials from each garment. When we consider our products, zippers and buttons sometimes need several different components to work properly and completely. And the problem is that these components usually do not work very well with the current recycling system in place. So, for example, can we recycle cotton or PET or nylon? Somehow yes, but we cannot have impurities such as metal in the mix. So it's not a good idea to mix them all, but zippers, zipper pullers, and shank buttons and rivets most of the time need to be strong enough to work without breaking. And so for the moment, plastic alone will not do the job by itself. So in order to comply with the rules of circularity and C2C projects, we are supplying to our customers some products which are made by the least amount of substances as possible. And this is the best way currently to make the circular projects running properly. And we also looking at the ways to separate the different parts of our products more easily, such as our screw tack button for denim garment recycling or non-denim garment recycling, and also a zipper whose slider can be removed more easily, ready for recycling. So by using that kind of products, by getting in touch with the circularity assessment companies, we are supplying our BOMs to the companies, and they are making the C2C projects in a cooperation with us and their customers.
Well, it's great to hear about the collaboration that's happening. You know, when you first asked, you know, how do you really make a circular garment? It is such a challenge. And I was in one working group and it came up about using, you know, one type of fiber. And you would have thought that we were telling people to go to the moon. Because designers just don't want to change in that way. So I think this is the challenge that we have together as an industry, and where we can compromise and what those trade-offs are. But very interesting to hear about some of your initiatives around those zippers. Great. And I know we all talked in the beginning, we were chatting about how wonderful it would be to get together and see each other at different trade shows that we're missing. Now we're pretty much looking at through the rest of this year that we will not physically have events. And while we all hope to reunite in 2021 physically at some of these events, how are you reaching customers during this time? What are you doing differently? You know, I would love to get an understanding of what you think might even stay longer term. Elif, for you, how are you addressing in marketing?
Yes, we missed two important exhibitions for the denim sector, so we missed some seasons. For these days, we made our collection digital, and we sent our digital catalogs to our customers, and it will be much easier and faster. We can give a quicker answer when they have any request, sampling requests, or development requests. Of course, it's not compensate face-to-face meetings and face-to-face collection presentation, but it's going well for the digital catalog. And every month we send some bulletin to our customers. We send some news from our labels or new developments. Every month we send our news to our customers. So this is also new for us. And last month we attended online show. It was Denim and Jeans India. It was our first experience online show. It was a successful exhibition for us. It was first trial, but it was successful. So I think online shops will be part of our life as I see from now on. As you mentioned, 2021 until we cannot see each other, I think, in the exhibition. We postponed one comic exhibition and we said, sorry, we cannot attend. So it will be a part of our life as I see online shops.
Definitely hybrid look at things. We also participated in Denims and Jeans. I thought that was a good platform. I think, you know, all of the trade shows are trying to figure it out and offer, you know, the best to the industry and the needs. But that's been a quick switch for many of the trade shows.
Yeah,
Suat, how are you changing in some of the marketing, and what do you think will stay?
As a YKK, we are prepared for any occasion with our global existence in 71 countries. So when we look at the current situation caused by the pandemic, we think that we have to be really patient first and then optimistic. So same as all companies, physical trade shows are vital to develop new business, as well as keeping our current customer relations alive by our innovations and new collections. And due to the physical limitations brought by COVID-19, we are reaching to our customers with virtual collections, online presentations, and for sure with limited physical meetings by using the advantage of our local offices as a result of our global network. On the other hand, besides believing the new normal, we also believe that the good days will come and we will be able to physically meet with our customers again. So we are really focusing on being optimistic, which we all need for the moment, because it's not going to be the end of the world is approaching. So soon, or let's say next year, a year later, the solution for the current situation will come. And what we will do, we will use the current opportunities and current tools which we had to develop due to pandemic, plus our physical meetings which we have used to do till now.
Great. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of good points about how we've had to work now, and doing things more digitally also provides almost a democracy where actually, you know, in some cases, in certain companies, not everyone can travel and maybe had limitations to access to information. So we've found that we've been able to reach out to more people, and, you know, whether it's juniors that are within organizations in order to educate. So you're right. There's definitely some good points about everything right now. Arzu, for you at Coats, how have you shifted now in your marketing and reaching out to customers?
Yes, it is clear that digital is growing fastly and it will stay. And we are supporting this. So in this COVID time, our digital interaction, of course, increased with everybody. So we have lots of our virtual meetings increased, digital, for example, we are using social platforms much more than before. We are creating some different webinars. We are using different platforms. So digital communication is increased. Also, what is important here for us, we are doing personalized actions about it for the assets and for everything. Of course, the assets and everything is in digital. So we are trying to reach to our customers in a personalized way for them only. Marketing assets are very important to attract the customers, because in digital, they are just looking at these assets and they are deciding if they need to use your product or not. So marketing is especially in this part very important, in my opinion. Also, we have some digital software solutions we are offering our customers. So in design stage, production stage, and product development stages, we are linking manufacturers with brands. So speed is very important, communication is very, very important. So we are supporting this with our tools. What is missing in textile and in industry, if you ask to me, in my opinion, touch and feel based applications we need for sample processes.
Great, thank you. And Amy, what are you doing now at Avery Dennison differently on the marketing side?
Yeah, so like everyone, we're leveraging our digital first tools, definitely. Before COVID, we were working on a digital strategy that is accelerating and enabling us to support our customers with tools like 3D sampling and video. And like you talked about, Arzu, marketing content, campaigns, social media is going to have an even bigger impact on our connection with customers. So that is a big focus for us as well. And we're engaged with new event formats that I think will have a lasting impact. I'm sure one of those is Copenhagen Fashion Summit. So for their upcoming October event, the Global Fashion Agenda is combining broadcast content with live workshops together with a digital content platform. So that's, I think, going to be a great example of how the industry can come together virtually in a way that can add even more value than a physical event in some ways. So we're working with a designer and a brand partner to showcase some new products in the digital design studio there. But yeah, I'm sure, of course, we will return to face-to-face events and meetings as much as we can. The spontaneous interactions are invaluable, and we still need tangible input, I believe, as well. But there will no doubt be less of a reliance on travel. And being forced to prove that it works is a brilliant thing for our environmental impact as an industry.
Yes, it's sort of been a global experiment to show that it can work, right? And I like your point on Copenhagen. I think they're doing some really good things, and I'm interested to see that too this fall. Vitor, for you at CRAFIL, how have you been addressing things, and what do you think will stay?
Well, we are doing exactly the same as everyone is doing. More digital meetings. I think that this new situation has made us rethink the way of living. Physical exhibitions and visits to customers, in my opinion, will never end because it is necessary to show the product. It is necessary to be in contact with the customer, to feel the emotion that we transmit when we are presenting. However, I believe that we all made trips to have meetings that could have been done via web. And that is what we have been doing, using the tools that already existed and that have been improved in this sense. Using these tools also makes us more sustainable.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you, Vitor, yes. So we have a couple of questions that I wanted to address, and one is on buttons, on biodegradable buttons, and what are they being made of? Suat at YKK, I don't know if you can answer that question of what you might be working on as far as buttons.
So biodegradable buttons are made of biodegradable plastic raw materials, which can be decomposed by the nature. So the most important part of the product is, as you know, always customers are asking for certification and test reports. So most important part is biodegradability test for the currently, for the moment. It's only for the polybags which we are using from the market. So since there is no any test method for the buttons and other textile accessories for biodegradability, we supply a test report for the raw material which we are using. And we are still looking forward to find some third-party laboratories which can apply the test for the buttons and rivets and other items. But for the moment, according to our declaration, we are submitting the test report of the raw material. And all customers were asking for shank button look biodegradable buttons due to the strength of the raw material. A real shank button, it's for the moment not possible to make it biodegradable 100% because of the attachment method. During the attachment, there's a lot of force applying on the product. So since it will be broken during attachment, we made shank button look sew-on button, which is biodegradable for the moment.
Interesting. Very good. Thank you for that update. We also had a question on the traceability, and I didn't know if anyone else wanted to add additional comments on what you're working on around traceability, any RFID or any other programs.
Yeah, I can take that one. That is proving to be an absolute lifesaver for a lot of brands who had previously invested in RFID in COVID times, because it really does give that transparency into your inventory and having that accuracy to be able to fulfill orders from anywhere, and then moving on from that, which is much more consumer facing, to bring that transparency to consumers. I think needs to begin with RFID, and then having that digital touch point, whether that's through NFC or a QR code, or other touch points, I think is going to be really integral.
Great, thank you. Thanks. And I don't know if you have any other updates too then, Amy, on what you might be working around packaging. You mentioned around poly bags, but any other highlights that you'd like to give? You know, packaging is also a big area of concern.
Yeah, sure. So we have a craft bag for e-commerce shipping that uses post-consumer waste, and I think that's a key product because we have the infrastructure. There's more infrastructure to recycle craft globally, and now we're looking to take that further, and we're testing a craft bag option for transit packaging, so the one that's used from shipping from the manufacturer to the DC, and that could have a massive impact, a huge reduction in single-use plastic if and when that's adopted at scale.
Great. Yes, with all of our increase in e-commerce, we definitely have to look at new ways of reducing our waste.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just in closing, would like to get one final thought from all of our panelists. I really appreciate everyone's input, but would love to get a sense of where you think the industry is today, and in one word, if you can express that. We'll just go alphabetically. Amy, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with revived.
Revived. I like that one. Very good. Arzu?
In my opinion, at the end of all these speeches, sustainability is the topic. And we need to think when we make decisions and when we take our actions, we need to think the results of our actions to the environment. So I will say the classical speech, save the world for a better place.
Great. Wonderful. Elif?
I am so optimistic like Mr. Suat. I hope COVID once will heal quickly and we will back to our normal as soon as possible, and we will touch each other as soon as.
Thank you. Suat, can you in one word say what your thoughts are for the industry?
Yeah, I would like to touch the positive side of the current incidents again. So as a result of the things which we faced in the last 6 months, our lives and routines have been changed a lot. But the good thing is most probably there are no more companies who are taking sustainability as a matter of marketing. So I think that will be the best side of the pandemic for us. So, and we hope there will be no more companies using sustainability as a matter of marketing. This is my last word. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Victor?
Yeah, in my opinion, and due to this situation also, I think the companies are passing for a difficult phase. So my word is hope.
Hope. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a lot of hope.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of our panelists today for joining us. Really appreciate your insight and all of this conversation. I think it's wonderful, the initiatives that you're taking right now. And now is really the time that we have to make this change together. And I think you've also expressed a lot of the collaboration that's happening in the industry. I'd also like to give a thanks to Michael Kinnemont, who also helps in support in developing the webinars. as well as Mohsin and Sadia, who are on the back end, making sure that our digital side and that everything runs smoothly. So thank you very much for that. We have coming up next, our next Denim Think Tank talk will be the China Mill Roundtable discussion. That will be September 9th. So keep an eye out for that. And then of course, all these videos are available on our YouTube channel, Blue Lens, so you can always listen to them later or share them with your colleagues. So thank you very much. Signing off with our little mini Jean, and look forward to being in touch further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.